I'm Reverend Cindy. I think all of you know me. Perhaps anybody out there does. um, I have been thinking a lot just recently about how fast things are changing in our world and all of the stuff that is rolling around. And so would like to make this morning's meditation about change through the view of the Wizard of Oz. So let's just all take a moment to get ourselves wholly and completely into this room, into this moment. And so we allow our bodies to relax into whatever's holding them up right now, knowing that they know their business and are going about their business, while we allow our attention, our focus, our consciousness to be directed where we want it. Knowing that slow, deep breaths continue to take care of themselves, that the relaxing of our shoulders, our necks, drop your ears, the scalp relaxes, the back of your tongue soften, the jaw unhinge. And let's just let ourselves be the directors of a movie about our own lives that parallels the experience of Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. I think that Dorothy represents rapid change in a very interesting way. And so, as we design our movie, we are simply going to observe this story as our own circumstances fill it in. So, I don't want to get truly caught in our tornado. We just want to experience thinking about it. Okay. So Dorothy was in Kansas, and in her tornado, as it came through, we could see houses and tractors, and I think a cow spinning. So let's take this first part to view our movie about immense change coming at us and understand what it is about change that is fearful for us. What is it that's giving us confusion or fear, distress or worry? And let's populate our tornado with these things that we find swirling around us. It can be, how am I going to feed my family? What do I do about this health crisis? How do I mend my broken relationships? Is it safe for me to make my Thanksgiving trip? All these kinds of things in the outer world tend to whirl around us if we allow them. So, what would you find if you looked to see what is whirling around in your world right now? And, and the upshot of the arrival of this tornado into Dorothy's experience, but she finds herself in a completely new place. Now, this place is actually beautiful and colorful, filled with unusual new types of things. And yet, she feels ungrounded, out of control. So, writing ourselves into our movie, understanding those things that are swirling around us and how things might change if we were truly lifted up by this tornado and moved into a place where we feel a little uncertain of the ground of the below us, a little uncertain of the new rules. Let's get a sense of that feeling of I'm in beauty. I hear singing. I see happiness around me, and yet I have a discomfort. Perhaps you are reminded of times when this has happened before. And you've landed in some place beautiful and yet feel unbalanced, slightly out of control. So, writing our own personal script, but just observing how it operates, let yourself populate and design that scene. But as frightening as it might have been for Dorothy, she finds herself among people that are delighted to see her, or in fact celebrating her arrival, who give her gifts immediately and set her on a path with instructions how to find her way back to her comfort zone. So, what's really happened is that Dorothy has been moved out of her comfort zone, out of the familiar, and into the new and beautiful, but unknown space. And as Dorothy sets off on this path with the celebration, enthusiasm, and backing of these wonderful new people, she finds friends on the path. She finds a wise friend. She finds a loving, compassionate friend. She finds a courageous friend. So now, as we begin to really get into the script of this movie where we are the star, let's think about all the times we have found these kinds of friends when we are searching, when we are on new paths. We are trying to reach an important destination in our lives. We're looking for our Oz. You can think of exact examples that you have experienced. And now, as we continue near the destination, surrounded by our new, wise, loving, courageous posse, we encounter, in Dorothy's case, the beautiful Emerald City. What would it be for us? What would be something amazing, something sparkly and awesome that we have set a path for? But Dorothy is still focused on the outer symbols of path, destination, and answers. And so, after many trials, she arrives before the great wizard Oz, seeking someone outside herself to explain how she returns to her home, her loved ones, to her comfort zone, to that which she desires. When have you sought outside help and answers to find your ground, find your level of comfort, find your desire? So after all this seeking and finding the one that was supposed to answer, Dorothy finds herself still in the land of change, still looking for her way home. The outward appearance of the balloon to take her home disappears before her. She is left to decide. Then the voice, the still small voice within, which is represented for her by the good witch Glinda, but is that still small voice, that self inner knowing. Dorothy is told, you have known all along. You have had the power all along to answer your heart's desire and process through this time of change in perfect ways. Those are Dorothy's ruby red slippers, but we know that we all have our own ruby slippers. We all have that power. So let's just take these last moments to anchor into ourselves this idea, I have ruby slippers. I only need to click my heels and know where I want to be, who I want to be with, and what I want to be doing. Anchor that idea, that feeling, that sense. And knowing that whenever change whirls through our lives, it's likely to land us in a beautiful place where we find ourselves celebrated, where we find ourselves surrounded by love and wisdom and courage, and where we find beautiful new destinations. And all we have to do is click our heels to be where we desire to be. And in Dorothy's case, she went home, but she was a different Dorothy. And we also walk through our times of being picked up by the whirling winds, moved in new directions, refinding our sense of balance and our grounding, and stepping into our desire renewed, refreshed, newly eyes open, and our life moves forward. So take a few minutes to complete your version of this story. Play it on the screen of your eyelids. Know that the power is always there. It simply needs to be acknowledged. Now let's Bring ourselves back to this room and to our comfy movie seats here. Happy to know that we each individually have walked again through times of change and come out in great places. And so it is.